So, uh, part of me agrees with you, Shan, about like you should play with somebody who wants to play the same sport as you, right? If you want to play the field, you should pick women who also want to play the field. I logically I think that makes sense. The idea that I've been exploring is that sometimes when you do that, you taint the way that you see the entire opposite sex, right? We see this time and time again with men who are constantly involving themselves with women who move like city girls. They start to assume that every woman is a city girl, that even if you're a good woman, they're not able to see past their experiences. Women do the same thing. And then we hear things like there's no more good men out there. So I think that's the danger of playing with people who want to play the same game as you, is you start to narrow what exists for you.
So I have a question for you. Would that not go true? For example, let me give you a scenario. You're dating this guy and you're a marriage-minded woman, right? Does that not, because you came in contact with him and then maybe you come in contact with another one of him, does that not also change you as a marriage-minded woman? Now you have boundaries that you turn into that woman who thinks men can be lessons, and you start to have these boundaries, and now you become that modern woman because you've tried to be right and you realize right isn't working for you.
I understand, right? And I get it. And that's why it's like a really conflicting thing. I understand like both experiences are valid and both experiences have the opportunity to change you. What I will say from my own personal experience is that when you meet that person who's for you, all of a sudden you start to realize that all those boundaries you have up are unnecessary, right? They're only necessary in order to get to that person. I get that. And I acknowledge that. What I also will say is that I've seen time and time again a man just like the man that we just watched in that video, when he meets that woman, will move mountains to make sure that she's put in a position to actually be his wife, right? That is a dangerous rhetoric for women who don't know how to vet, or men who are using that as game.
Right.
Absolutely. But a man who really wants that woman will do everything in his power to make sure that that happens, that she actually becomes his wife.
Right. So I think my point in the video is, for example, this guy says, where are the good women? I think that just like Marcus stated, how men are overlooked, I think good women are used. And now that good woman who was once a good woman who did do right, she turns into that woman that you hate, because she has been her. Some people take goodness for granted. They find it to be like, oh, she's naive, or she's easy to manipulate. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? And she was a good, because I think that most men have had a good woman in their life and they do right by her. and what people don't understand is sometimes, that can change a good woman to, you remember Jay-Z song, once a good woman goes bad, she's gone forever. Like there's some legitimacy to that lyric, and so I think that people don't realize the way that we're dating right now, that's what's happening. People are just like, well, F you too. Like, you F me, I'm gonna, and it's like a tit for tat, and it's just getting to the point where it's too far. I mean, what are you guys' opinion? What's your opinion on that? Go ahead. Mark.
So the men who are invisible probably never had that experience. I just want to say that. It's most of the men who got all the women and could take women for granted that have had a good, like, I know I done turned some women that was like excellent women. If not bad, I didn't I did not help the cause. I done thus been trying to redeem my karma and stuff, but I know I'm not the
I'm about to get on you in a second.
You say what?
I'm about to get on you in a second, because you were part of this clique. But I want to hear everybody's point of view before I change it to that. I want to hear everybody's thoughts on the video.
I used to be a part of the clique. Right now,
oh yeah. It don't matter if you used to be. Okay, you contribute to these streets. Go ahead.
What else can I say?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think is a double-edged sword for both parties involved because each person runs the risk of adapting and changing behavior based on their experiences. Actually, that's what happens. What you, like you said, Shan, about learning what you like, dislike, where to draw boundaries, what your boundaries are going to be, what are you open to, what are you not, like all of those things. So in his situation, I can respect the fact that he recognizes I'm not in a place right now to be married because there are other things that I want to do that I know is selfish and is not going to be conducive to being in a family unit. However,
but he said at the beginning,
okay. So I can respect that as long as he shared that with the person that he said that he was in the long-term relationship with. If he shared that with her, then he put the ball in her court to determine whether or not she's okay to ride that ride with him until he feels like he got to where he needs to be. And then he'll take that step with her. But if she's not, then it's on her to hop off that ride. So it's about the transparency about what your intentions are. And if he's made his intentions clear, then that's cool. The other side to that is a lot of times men don't do that. And a lot of times as women, we don't jump off the ride soon enough. And then we get upset and blame the guy for stringing us along when the power was in our hands to either to stay or leave. And if we chose to stay, then at that point, it is not the guy's fault.
So, mistaken, you stole part of my point, but I wouldn't just say men are conniving and manipulative. So are women. But that's I got more point on what he said. I appreciate the fact that he's moving. He has found his purpose and he's moving in that purpose and he's doing everything intentionally. But to Mistaken's point, it's about was he honest and upfront and transparent to the current female that he has? And is she aware enough to understand she might not be the one that's chosen? The counter to what he's doing, though, is he's getting to the finish line before he decides whom he's going to marry. And that in itself can be problematic because of some of these conniving women. And there are some women that are really good at.
We're gonna get to women. I just want to point out we're gonna get to
no. I'm just talking about the video that are good at faking who they are to get whatever goal that they want. So my suggestion would be to him, if this chick is one of those real chicks, one, don't break her in the process, and two, why not wife her up and let her grow with you? Like that, if you get if somebody's there from the beginning and they're rocking with your program, why throw them off the train when you get to the end because you chose not to marry them? Go ahead and let them grow with you, see the process, understand the process, and then I think those two people can make a beautiful life when he gets those goals achieved. Just my opinion, though.
I would say to that point, AP, guys seem to be very objective based. Like there are certain goals and missions that most guys internally want to reach before they want to do those things. Also, men,
not most guys. That's a cultural thing.
Be that as it may, I think that subconsciously every man knows that there's going to be more to marriage than just the wedding. So to accept that mantle and that responsibility when he is not internally ready for that is a recipe for disaster. There's a reason why he's focused on these things versus marrying this woman. And oftentimes, brothers and women will do a lot of the things before they get married. So all the stuff that people used to reserve for marriage, they're doing it now. They're having sex. They're living together. They're working together. They're building businesses together. They're having kids together. They're literally doing everything before marriage. And if we go back to the conversation we had last week, it's hard to it's hard to discredit some of the things that people are doing because like you have access to it all. And the way that men think about marriage versus women is just different. You kind of have to sell some sort of idea to this man for him to want to be committed to you to some degree. So I think that it's a pro and a con that he is willing to be honest enough with himself and say that he's not ready, but it's also a con because the thing is that if you continue to focus on this selfish thing, you're taking a major risk because you keep chasing this thing. Okay, what's the next thing? All right, well, I got the car. Oh, I took care of my mom and I took care of this. At some point, you got to realize like sometimes we chase a whole bunch of stuff and then by you chasing these things you actually miss the train that you actually really wanted to be on because you was looking at the wrong stuff. So I would always tell people like, listen, bro, whatever decision you make, be okay with the risk that comes with it, because every decision that you make, whether you get married early or you get married late, there's risk involved in that, and there's no guarantees success when you're dealing with people in general.
I agree, Harrison, and I just thought about that video for just an extra second while you were speaking. He said he's getting a coupe, so not a family friendly automobile. He's getting a home that's not going to be a family friendly home. So my question is he really even is he even going to want marriage? Because it sounds like he's setting up a bachelor type of lifestyle. So maybe he already knows that, and he's just having this conversation. Hey, I'll get to that when I get to it. He's
But
not really that concerned.
if you listen to how he opened up, he said he's in a long-term relationship. He's dating seriously.